Ace of Spades here with another Diablo 4 Season 5 build. This is gonna be an Endariel's Might Landstorm build. So this build has gotten quite a few upgrades. It's very comfy right now, and we have a lot more tankiness for the build. We have more move speed. The damage has remained pretty much the same as we have tested on high pits, and the build seems to be pushing exactly the same. What does it have though is ramps up a lot faster, so you will find that the build has more damage probably in hordes. The life on hit is better. It requires less items that are not uniques, so we are playing 2 more uniques, which means that less items to find on the market, and your items are gonna be overall looking better if you do not have access to 4 GA items. Andariel's also has your best stat, which is attack speed, which probably you do not have capped. And thanks to Andariel, you will cap this stat, which is your best damage dealing stat in the game. This build is a 5 out of 5 for damage, just like the previous build. In terms of defense, this build is also a 5 out of 5 compared to the previous build, which is a little bit more lacking in terms of defense. I would say a 4 out of 5, or maybe even 3.5 out of 5. Mobility, the build still isn't the fastest. We have a 3 out of 5 in mobility, but it's more mobile than before thanks to Tyrell's Might. And in terms of ease to assemble, this build is now, in my opinion, easier. As we are deeper in the season, we have more access to Ubers. The ability to cap your resistances more easily with this build is priceless, on top of course, items like Tyrell's Might and Andariel's not necessarily be needing any GAs, so they're easier to get than for GA Vasilis prayer like before. The build overall feels amazing, and let's get into it. But before that, a word from our sponsor, the Crimson Market. This video is sponsored by the Crimson Market, a Diablo 4 trading website, where every season you can come and buy your boss materials, your items that you need. Everything is incredibly easy to find on this website. On top of that, they're also doing amazing giveaways that you can join completely for free. You can sign up for 1 month of the golden ticket, 30 days, you get a royal tier for free. The royal tier will give you points. The more points you have, the better the chances are to win computers such as this Bumblebee themed desktop computer. You can read all about here how it works. The longer you are part of the club, the more points you earn. You can also earn points by signing up with Steam and playing the game Diablo 4. Thank you very much to the Crimson Market for sponsoring this video. And at the end of the month, they usually give away the computers on streams like Vodija or Rocks, and maybe in the future of mine. Alright guys, let's talk about the build. I have here my items, so we're gonna go over it, the changes to everything. And as you can see, the build has pushed really well. I haven't played it myself to 151 that well. The footage I showed you is from Thomas. He has better gear than me for this build. My gear is too good for my previous version, and yeah, I perform better with the previous version because my gear is perfect for that, but lacking for the new one. So for example, let's go with my amulet, which is amazing, of course, but my friend Thomas has Nature's Reach instead of Defiance, which is a massive damage increase compared to this one that I have. On top of that, he has the GA not on attack speed for his Starless Sky, but he has GA on core skills, which is more damage, and as you will see, it has been changed on the planner. That's because we cap attack speed without needing attack speed on the Starless Sky. On top of that, I also have attack speed on my boots, which now you will not need, as attack speed does not work, shapeshifting attack speed. You want ranks to heightened senses, which is more damage and more damage reduction and more move speed. Also, there are other changes to the build. Let's go over them. Of course, the helm is now on Daryl's Visage, where you're gonna have attack speed. This is pretty much gonna cap your entire attack speed, 66%. From this point on, your Ring of the Starless Sky pretty much will cover for the rest. Then you can either do a potion or a boon for that. We have Tyrell's Might, where I would advise one actually upgrade on maximum resistances to all elements to cap them out, and then you can do 2 ranks if you want on damage reduction. That's fine. I have 3 of them. It's okay. Nothing really kills me, so I don't really bother with changing. But if you want to play, I would say hardcore, do 1 change, take out Retaliation Dagger, and play Doomstorm. So play the Doombringer, and then you will be completely unkillable, and maybe even remove the blue gems for the red gems. Of course, I run blue gems because I am so immortal with my chest that I do not feel like I need to run red gems. Unsung, nothing changes. Your rank to Lightning Storm are your best option in this case. My pants, not very good, but I need a different pair of pants for the build because we do not run Thibault's Will. We need a pair of pants with total armor and some type of armor roll to cap or armor. As you can see, I'm easily capped, no issue, is peasy, 10k. Resistances are super capped, and of course, my armor, you can finish it up with the gems, because we have Tyrael's Might for the resistances. I have Wild Heart Hunger, like I said, needs to be Item Senses. Still Retaliation. I have damage to card controlled on my Dagger and on my Totem. I have Life on it on Totem, but I will add Crit Chance, or you can have damage if your Crit Chance capped. I have Life on it because this was for my previous version of the build with the Basilisk Prayer, of course. Like I said here, this is gonna be Curse Kills instead of Attack Speed. Nothing changes for the Earthbreaker. You still want Earth attack speed because remember guys, this is a different attack speed cap than the previous one. There's two attack speed brackets. The basic one that is just called attack speed, and then there is anything else. Werewolf attack speed, shapeshifting attack speed, earth attack speed, blah blah blah. That is a different 100% cap, so in total you can have 300% attack speed. 100 base, 100 from normal attack speed, and 100 from the different type, the second bracket. For the amulet, no attack speed as you are already capped, so you want to have 3 passive or willpower or quick chance or max life if possible. If you feel like you want a little bit more damage, you can still play the same thing as before. You can go Thibault with a chest with armor and total armor and Nature's Fury on that one. So you can change that if you want to have that 20% more damage. The build plays Maul, so the skills are a little bit different. As you can see, the build has Maul, and that's okay. It helps you keep up your quick shift whenever you need it. Usually you do not need it. Blood Owl usually is enough on Hordes to keep your Wild Heart and your quick shift up. If you feel like you want more, I use Maul, and I have actually binded my Maul to a Shift +3 button together, so that the character stands still in place and uses a Maul without moving. But if you are targeting something, it will move towards it, but if you're swinging in the air, that's fine as well. In terms of my boons, you can have either Crit Chance, or you can have Max Life or Attack Speed if you're not still capped. Of course, crit damage, damage reduction from elites, Spirit is the same, and of course, Nature Magic skill. We have experimented with Overload, and I don't necessarily like it too much. Honestly, I did not get much of a damage increase from it, even though my friend swears that it does, which could be, but my experience wasn't great. So Iron Feather is 20% and it's hard to beat. It's damage reduction and it's hard to beat. If you want to push pits, then okay, you can run swooping attacks, or you can run crit chance if you're not capped. And if you're capped on all of that and you still want more damage and take out 20% HP, run Overload. What Overload does for you is that it will give you the ability to remove this 1 point here, Bad Omen, for Electrocution. It allows you to play Electrocution without Bad Omen, so you can invest that 1 point in something else, which could be a 2% damage from Resonance. Now, let's go over the talents. My talents are a lot more like my pit pushing build. We have no defense on the talent tree. We have Wild Impulses, we have 1 point in Bad Omen and 3 points in Electric Shock, so that we can activate Electrocution. We do not run Human nor Werebear, so we have less DR, but we have more damage. We have Crushing Earth, we have Stone Guard. So as you can see, we've taken every damage talent in the game, and I think I already said Wild Impulses. This is because we are much tankier with Tyrael's Might, and this allows us to go more greedy on gems and on our Paragon board. Now, for our Paragon board, now I will show you the pit pushing version of this Paragon board, which is slightly different. The version of Mobiletic is going to be an upgraded version of this one, and I will tell you exactly what are the differences. We run Spirit, we run Earth and Sky in Constricting Tendrils, without taking Constricting Tendrils as we used to, because now we poison with Undial's Visage. We take Fulminate in the Werebear Survival Instinct board. We take Dominate, and that's the change. The change from the Paragon board that you will find on Mobiletic is the Dominate glyph. But I will now tell you what you gain and lose to run one more glyph. We take Dominate here in Earth and Devastation. We take Electrocution in Final Shock. And you take Ancestral Guidance. This board will disappear. This part of the board will disappear on Mobiletics. Here we take Keeper, which on Mobalytics, you will see that Keeper will be instead on my Dominate Earth and Devastation board instead. And we take Height and Malice. What's gonna be the difference in the Mobalytics build? What do you lose to get one more glyph spot, which ends up being our Dominate glyph, which is the worst glyph we have. It is about 140 additive damage, and we also lose 14% damage reduction from Survival Instinct, because we are not taking right now the damage reduction. So you take 15% more damage primarily on bosses. On bosses, you do overpower enough to keep the buff up. On AoE, no. But on bosses, it does work. So you would have 15% more damage on bosses, but you lose the 140% additive damage, which end up being about, I think, probably for you it's gonna be 8-9%, depend how maxed out you are. The more maxed out your gear is, the more damage, the less damage you gain from more additive damage. I have a lot of stats with my gear, you probably have less, so for you, this Paragon board with Dominate is even worse than it is for me. So, pretty much you lose a lot of damage on Hordes, but you gain a little bit of more damage on bosses, on pits with the Dominate. That's why I don't really advise this specific Paragon board, and that's why it will be different on Mobalytics. Unless you like to run Hordes all day, pits all day, in which case this could be slightly better for you. But you also lose the 14% damage reduction, so overall I think it's a pretty big difference in terms of value, and it's not worth in my opinion. So now I've explained why, because people always ask, why is your board in game different? Well, this is why. I'm running pits because pretty much I have nothing else to do in the game other than run pits, as you might understand. My gear is pretty thick at the moment, as I have shown. Probably this is gonna be my last build for the season. We're gonna cover up more PTR builds, and then we're gonna cover Spiritborn and other stuff for the expansion, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the build, and thank you everyone for watching, and hope you guys had a great season, and let's finish up with a bang.